Sandworm. Snape? Freaking creep. We're gonna inject the payload. No, he's gonna die.
What are you doing? What are you guys? Oh my god. Yeah.
You're not supposed to be doing this.
I know.
You know what?
Oh my gosh.
I've had it with his attitude.
Holy crap. You know what? You can go right there. There you go.
Using the old headphones.
Okay.
Using all the old stuff. This dude, man.
Well, sorry about that, guys. Well, sometimes these guys, they got the mind of their own, you know.
Leave for 5 seconds. Oh, see, you even mess with my thing. No courtesy, these droids, bro.
I think we're okay. Well, on that note, welcome back to the Frame Rate Podcast.
It's the last.
It's with heavy heart.
It's the last day of May.
It's the final Star Wars Month episode.
I know how much you guys love it. I know that you guys are so heartbroken to see it go.
That every episode you hear Tristan or me say, "It's May," and I can almost hear all of you at home saying back to us, "It's Star Wars Month." Let's do that one more time, why don't we, okay? Can you say it's Star Wars Month?
Ready? It's May. Good job.
Very good.
Woo.
Very good. Well, Tristan, we may be like a week late, but that's okay.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu.
This is the way.
This is the May.
How many of you at home just said this is the Star Wars month? Be honest. Comment down below.
How many of you rolled your eyes and turned us off? I can't get enough of it.
Guess we can't know that.
You guys suck.
When I go look at the retention on this episode,
We're going to watch it drop
Just
off
at-
right here.
at the 3-minute mark, just tank.
Well, I feel like we don't really need to, do any of the fun introduction stuff because a movie came out and I know everybody's been really wanting us to go back to the movie review format. So
Well, we finally have a movie to talk about.
let's jump right into it. First off, Trevor, what were some things that you liked?
I had just looked this up so I could say this, but his name it's David something.
David Cornsweet.
Oh, no, I want to say his last name was like Klein or something.
Sure.
Just the cinematographer for this movie crushed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
For all of like the scenes that you could tell were shot in camera and not on a volume stage, that, it was just CG elements added into it or set piece elements added into it.
Yeah.
Did a really good job, especially as I'm sure that we'll talk about maybe in just a second. I don't know. But like that, the intro sequence
Mm-hmm.
after the cold open,
Yeah.
that was beautiful. Might be one of the more aesthetically pleasing things I've seen in Star Wars in a long time.
Yeah. Well, we had talked about this a little bit, like before, because we obviously didn't rewatch the seasons.
What time do you think I got?
Well, and the kind of fans of Star Wars that me and Trevor already are, like, I don't know if anybody else has picked up on this who's watching this, but like the retention skills of me and Trevor are like next to none. We're two of two. And so like I didn't need to watch any of the seasons leading like to prepare because like I already have like a pretty good like almost photographic memory of all the stuff that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I like when it picks up, I'm like, oh yeah, where we picked up. You know?
And truthfully, there wasn't a lot in this movie that like required
No.
watching of like season 3 or Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Outside of like if you didn't watch any of those and you didn't hear about what happened in those 2 seasons of those shows, you'd be like, I thought that Mando and Grogu separated.
Yeah. Well, I also think that there was
What happened to Luke Skywalker?
I don't know what happened. I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it's season. As I'm talking about my photographic memory, I don't remember what season it happens in. I just know that like there's the meeting between Moff Gideon and all of the Imperial warlords.
I think
As they're
that's
like
the beginning of season 2.
Yeah, as they're like trying to figure out what happens until Grand Admiral Thrawn comes back.
Mm-hmm. Lead ending into
Yeah.
Ahsoka, you know.
Yeah, and so
Felt very
That
much like
was-
a Marvel.
that
scene.
was kind of I think that was like the one scene that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni like were like, this is an important part. Like if you're not sure of any of this stuff, then watch at least this episode because you're going to want to, which makes sense because, you know, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like the whole premise of the show is Mando going out, finding the warlords and bringing them to justice, right?
Yeah.
Um,
He's a bounty hunter, right?
Yeah.
You know, which I think like was done like the character involvement of the Mandalorian of Din Djarin leading up to this, like if you went into this movie without having seen anything, then you'd be really lost on why so many of certain parts were significant, whatnot. But it very much is like he's not doing it for the money anymore, and he's not doing it for his creed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it for the betterment of the galaxy. He's doing it for the New Republic, and he's doing it for his son.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I saw a lot of people who were a little upset with like how the Mandalorian's arc, like its development arc has gone through, because people were like, I love the Mandalorian, but I'll never forgive them from taking away Boba Fett, right? And I think it's fine, right? Like I know that a lot of people actually just weren't big fans of the Book of Boba Fett, and I've talked about this before on the show that it's, you know, I actually didn't mind the Book of Boba Fett, and I actually really enjoyed the other than that, yeah, of course.
Spin around.
I really enjoyed that show, and I really enjoyed like the different direction that they took Boba. Because if you really think about it,
Me when they started making boba pearls that popped.
shut up. But that's kind of like what his dad was doing, right? Like his dad didn't really want any business in like crime or any of that stuff. Like Jango Fett was just like, I'm just a simple man.
Just a simple man in the universe.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
so it would make sense
Trying to
that
find
like
his place in the
after,
almost sound like a bad Star Wars fan again.
but like, I don't know. So that aside, like Boba Fett ran so that Mando could walk, right? Or however that saying goes. Was it vice versa?
Backwards.
Boba Fett walked so that Mando could run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it thoroughly. Anyways, that was off topic. Back to what Trevor enjoyed.
Well, I mentioned cinematography, and we got
Woo!
I mean, if you've been following us in this podcast for a while now, then it's probably really obvious to you that Tristan and I both are huge fans of how they like make these movies, how these things are done. And like I've definitely now, like my heart has grown 3 sizes when I watch any film, when it's like really obvious, when like a lot of effort and love went into the making of a certain scene. Like I know that they made like a big deal when they first showed like clips at Star Wars Celebration, and Dave Filoni's talking about how they built like an actual like interior of the AT-AT for some scenes. And obviously watching this, you're like, well, it doesn't last very long, but why I wouldn't expect them to spend a lot of time in there, but like it looked really good.
I remember thinking the exact same thing.
And then like the shot that takes place in that one take action shot is super, super well choreographed.
I remember thinking, wow, these guys are pretty spacious. That's like a full-blown like studio apartment in there.
it's like $1,200 a month, and
this is way bigger than how it seems in Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Yeah.
But I liked that too. I remember like, especially in that action sequence, I remember being like marveled by the scale, right? Because they're big, but you never really like, I don't know, like the closest that you get to kind of getting scale of one of these walkers is,
my first thought with that is like when Luke, zips up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, or like Rogue One when it gets bombed.
Those ones, I feel like the ones in Rogue One are like bigger than normal.
They probably are.
They
but
totally feel that way at least.
That's or like, I guess if I think Cal Kestis does it in the first
he goes in
Jedi
there.
Fallen Order.
Which I guess now thinking about it, comparing those two, because he goes in the interior of that
Yeah.
one. That's pretty one for one there.
Yeah. So that was, I don't know. They're really big, right? And I guess I just never like made that connection, right? Because we never really see one like traverse through an AT-AT, right? So when he does that, and then like, I don't know, I always thought that like the neck thing was just like power cables and stuff. So like the fact that it's like an actual doorway made so much sense, and I was like, oh, duh. What an idiot.
Yeah. I think like kind of like talking about what I was saying with that scene. I think that the action choreography is really well done in this, especially considering how much action choreography takes place between, the Mando stunt performers and something that isn't there, right? Like you got to wonder how they did some of like what was on set when he's fighting Rada the Hutt in the pit, right?
Yeah.
What is he wrestling and dodging, right?
Yeah.
And then
Or like the snake.
Yeah, the dragon snake in the water, like that's got to be really tough,
Mm-hmm.
And then like
Yeah. Well, stuff that I liked, to go a different direction, to not just say the same stuff over and over again. I think like from a simpleton standpoint, I think I really enjoyed cinematography is such a big umbrella.
Music, just go with music.
No, I want to be a little more original. Well, because I really liked, as an overarching theme, as a big theme. I enjoyed that this one kind of went back to its Western feel roots, right?
It very much felt like beginning of Mando season 1, right?
Mm-hmm. And like bringing up the opening credits, Like, I remember telling Trevor as we were walking out of the movie, like, I felt so much like I was watching a Western that I like half expected like Clint Eastwood or John Wayne to make an appearance in some shape or form. Right?
Mhm.
Like, because that's the vibes that it obviously they're totally different, but that's the vibes that it gave off, was that it felt like a Western. And then it kind of just kept up with it. Like, it turned into like the neo, like futuristic, like it was
Yeah.
neo gothic. Is that what it's considered?
That's what I said it was. I could be wrong, but that feels right.
Like it just took
It felt like they combined like Nueva York 2099 with Gotham City.
yeah, but they also like kept the Western theme, right? Like Mando does like when he's in Shikari, the city on Shikari, like when he comes into the room looking for what's his name? Coins.
Coin. Yeah.
What's
Amanda
the-
Coin.
What's the Janu?
Yeah, John Coin.
I remember thinking Jabu
Lord John.
from Zelda. I was like, that's kind of similar. When he comes into the diner area, the bar, like obviously they couldn't put him there because it's, futuristic, but he could have
saloon doors.
Yeah, I was saying, he could have kicked in the saloon doors and I would have been just fine, because that's the vibe it gave off, right?
I'm sure that this is also intentional. I bet Jon Favreau would totally say this is on purpose. But like when Mando is walking, just in those walking scenes, he's walking kind of like cowboy and Western, but then his gear is such that it sounds like he's got spurs on.
I was thinking the
And you're
same
like-
thing.
You're like he just needs to have like real wide steps.
Ting, ting, ting. Yeah. I don't know. So I
Can we
enjoyed
get a Mando Rango collab?
Rando. Mango.
You know how easy it would be to just like make a bounty hunter who's just looks a whole
chameleon?
lot like a chameleon wearing cowboy stuff.
Yeah, it's Bosk.
Mango. Rip Carl Weathers, you would have loved Mango.
Or Rando. Hey, Rando. But like if I could get I guess to get specific with it, I really enjoyed I think I really enjoyed the storytelling on this one. And I think that might be a little controversial.
I think so too.
Because people weren't really that big of of fans. But if I could, again, Lucasfilm doesn't pay me, so I'm defending them on my own dime.
For now,
But
if you make Mango hit, I want my royalties.
what if that's like their next food collab?
Mango
Like instead of Mr. Potato Head, Mango.
coming to Galaxy's Edge once the re-theme is done.
No,
Get it at the outpost.
the Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were kind of given an impossible task when it came to this movie, because basically the Disney executives, from what I understand, the Disney executives came to them and was like, we need a Star Wars like movie. We need a Star Wars movie and we need it now. Because we need that cash money. But we need it now. So is there anything you guys can do? And they're like, oh, well, we don't really have a whole lot in the works. They're like, what about Mandalorian season 4? Can you make that into a movie? And they're like, I guess. And they were like, do it. Right? So with that being said, and with that understanding, there's not really like a whole lot you can do to prepare to make a TV show, like an entire season of planning crammed into like a 2.5 hour movie. Right. And it's not even 2.5 hours. So, yes, I actually enjoyed the storytelling, and I thought that it was a good, nice, like fitting end to the character that we have come to love so much, the characters that we've come to love so much over the last, what has it been, like 6-7 years?
2019, I think. Because it was like, a with Disney Plus
Yeah.
thing. And I think that was November of 2019.
Yeah. So a little over 6 years. Right. But I enjoyed the routes that they went. I'm glad that they showed a lot more of like Grogu and his storyline and how he is like independent.
Well, I'm just glad that they took what was, very much just like a supplemental, like he is a catalyst for Mandalorian's growth, right? His character growth, taking care of the child. And like as they developed their relationship, Grogu himself got his own kind of character arc in a way that he became,
well, and
as they called him in that opening, crawl, reading. All good movies start with reading. His young apprentice Grogu. The 2 times I saw that movie, when I was reading that, I read that like it was Palpatine. Young apprentice Grogu.
Yeah, like it was good. It was good stuff, and I really enjoyed the most. Like what I enjoyed the most about that whole thing was that, like, this might be a little too deep, and
go for it, man. That's what we're here for.
Star Wars creators, if you're watching, please tell me if I'm wrong. But it kind of felt like this movie was like a shot back at like the poor development, like the poor arc, like growth arc they gave Luke, right? Where he's like, you can't have connections, little one. You can't love anyone. Sure, I just saved the entire galaxy because I was motivated only by love. But you can't. So you have to choose this super rad chainmail with this dumb lightsaber that you've never seen, and the last time you saw one, it murdered all of your friends. Which one do you want, young one?
Choose.
And then he's like, if you choose the lightsaber, you'll never see your friend. If you choose the chainmail, well, then I'm just going to kick you to the curb. I'm going to send you back in the X-Wing, but I'm not going to take you.
It's the Luke Skywalker. It was the Luke Skywalker they gave us in Last Jedi.
Yeah. Right. So
which, props to them for continuity.
So I felt like this movie was like them pushing back on that a little bit and being like, no, like having connection and having relationships and caring for people actually can be the right thing to do and the good thing to do if done correctly, right?
Yeah.
And you saw that multiple times with, Grogu holding his own and doing his own parts of the mission, and then, playing Mr. Mom for Mando while he's recovering from death, and then saving Rada from the falling into the pit with the dragon snake. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of that stuff that I was like, I like this. I like that. Right? Like, because Star Wars, sometimes I feel like they've boxed themselves into like a corner when it comes to that, because they're like, they're really cool, but they can't care a rat's butt about anybody but themselves, right?
Uh-huh. And
then anytime that you do see them care about someone else, it like immediately turns bad for them, and they're like, that's why you don't do it. So it was nice to kind of see an entire movie of a Force user who is just like, no, like, that's my dad. In the Jedi Order, we're not allowed to have dads. So I love my dad. I'm going to save my dad. And then this big old buff slug. I like him too. He's cool. He fed me fish.
He played in the ocean with me.
So I really liked that.
He fed me fish like I was at a hibachi restaurant with shrimp.
So that was good. Those were probably the stuff that wasn't already touched on by like Trevor, because like cinematography and everything in that, like lighting,
Being
props,
really broad.
the giant umbrella that is the entire movie that Trevor took the easy way out on.
Listen, I have more things I want to say. I just didn't want to take up all the time. Segue.
This episode is brought to you by.
Last few things I wanted to mention that I really liked before, we just start really talking about the content of the movie. The creature design and the puppeteer work was so good.
Really good.
So good. And I think it really
There needs to be an Oscar for like best puppeteer. So we can watch Rocky. We can watch Rocky and Grogu and
fight.
whatever the little.
I feel like I did know the name of their species. Start with like an A.
Anyways,
We can watch Grogu. The Grogu. The Fricks.
Yeah.
We'll just call them the Fricks.
Yeah. Watching those guys.
Come
on, little baby. Come on.
No touchy, baby. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I would love to see them fight at the Oscars.
But like the actual like the creature design
Rocky hates
with
Grogu.
like legit, dude. That might actually be said at the Oscars. I'm not even kidding. Conan O'Brien's gonna make a joke about like if I had a nickel for every movie that came out this year that made me feel emotions for a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels. And it would cut to like Rocky sitting in a chair. Rocky hate Grogu. And then it would cut to the Grogu puppet. Doing that. Oh my God, that legit might happen.
We will cut this episode in for our Oscar review for next year when that happens. And we will put a big fat, we called it.
With a timestamp. When this episode was released.
We deserve credit, Conan O'Brien. That was our joke.
Lawyer up, Conan.
I'm taking all your pomade. No more fancy hairdos.
I don't care that you graduated from Harvard.
Oh.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention, which truthfully changed this movie for me entirely. It happened near the beginning, I will say. They say Dawana Wanga in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They say it again.
Uh-huh.
Mando's the one who says it.
Dawana Wanga.
Literally.
The widest way that a guy can say it.
Dawana Wanga. It's
he just comes up. He comes up and he's like,
not even a real language.
He comes up and he's just like, Dawana Wanga.
Dawana Wanga.
Did I say that right? Is it Dawana?
This was the first time I truly. I mean, like, I know that they have it in, like in Clone Wars and stuff. With I forget the name of the other hut that's in Clone Wars.
Zepho.
That's a planet in
You're
Fallen
right.
Order.
Hold on, he's purple.
Mm-hmm. He talks like this or something like that.
What's his? Hold on.
He's the one who kidnapped Rada in the Clone Wars movie. I forget his name, but
Don't worry.
like up until this movie, and I think Jabba's mom in Clone Wars, if you can remember her.
Zero.
Can't remember a freaking number.
I was close.
I like it was a little interesting and off-putting, I guess, to hear the Hutts speak English, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I know that they have done that before, but like
I need hands. Give me hands.
with Zero and with I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that like the mom Hutt living in her swamp hut in Clone Wars, there's like one, is it Clone Wars or Bad Batch? I can't remember. I don't know. They go to Nal Hutta at some point in the animated shows. And like the mom Hutt, who's just colossal, I'm pretty sure she speaks English too. Like obviously I've already heard them, but like they have like distinctive like accents that sound more human than Hutt.
the
when like
twins,
the twins and with
the
like,
twins sound Russian.
that might be the point.
Like what was this Mandalorian helmet?
Bring me his helmet.
We have shamed you.
When your little one will have to suffer without you.
And then the other twin.
We know your creed.
Not if I kill you first. I was waiting for that little like creature
The bird that had like almost the same face.
And he's like,
That one's named Silicious Bee Feather.
yeah, that was I didn't really catch like I actually wasn't thrown off that much by Rada though.
Yeah.
His was pretty good. And obviously it's who is it again?
Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy Allen White. I like him as an actor. Granted, he's only been in TV shows, so like
And he plays Bruce Springsteen.
so you know, there's that. But he actually did really good voice acting. There's a lot of times where they'll hire big name actors to do a voice acting job, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with you, because I think that he did a good job of like portraying the right emotion and delivering his lines the way that he should have. But like to me, a lot of the things he said kind of felt a little flat.
Yeah.
Like, after this, I'll be a free man. My last fight. Guards, he's here.
Yeah,
Felt
I
like
guess
that
that's
a
a
little
good.
bit to me. I
that's
mean, after seeing it twice, like it like definitely stood out to me a little more.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But like part of that is definitely a direction problem, because the directors in the VO booth are supposed to tell the actors what they're looking for.
Yeah, like
For this, and then they ask them usually to say the same line several times, and then whatever the best take is out of that, based on what the director chooses, is what they use.
yeah.
So there's probably worse takes.
But I did enjoy the serious like monotone that he brought to the character because he wasn't a voice actor. Like the hey, take care of your dad. He's a good one, right? Like that.
Yeah,
those
it
lines
really
delivered
worked
well.
for those moments, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like the most emotion I heard from him was after Mando said, "I'm not gonna kill you," and he's like, "Then you're gonna have a long day." And you know, it's like we're like, "Wow," he yelled.
Yeah, yeah.
But like again,
He's not a voice actor.
I'm not one to judge,
Yeah.
right?
Like, and you can hear it. I guess I'll walk back a little bit of what I said. You can definitely hear when like shout out Invincible. Like you can hear when there's people who aren't voice actors trying to voice act, right?
yeah,
Versus like, you know, third time's a charm. Mr. Sam Witwer. Please
Yeah.
watch our show. But there's a difference. Like you can hear it, and not all the time, right? But in the strong emotion scenes, you can pick up, you know, at least I guess someone like us who really like pays attention to the details of a movie rather than just like watching it for fun, you know? Like you just pick up on that. But yeah, I get you bring up some good points on there. What was your thoughts on Rada?
I mean, when I had learned that like he was, you know, going to be a part of it, I was like excited. I was like cool that they're doing what Disney's been doing, and they're like niche Star Wars character from the worst Star Wars movie ever made. And then like here's a new rendering of what he looked like as a baby, which the live action
Beautiful.
rendering's so much better.
Beautiful.
He looks so much better. We do have an image from a long time ago. He's had a growth spurt since.
Mandalorian's like, how do I find that?
Yeah, I think I do feel like some of his arc and his particular part of the story felt a little disconnected
Yeah.
Like, the whole part on Shikari, like, totally made sense. Doing all of that set piece to lead up to them escaping, then the character moment between the two of them turning back, getting Coin believing him. Like, that's a big thing. That's a really big turning point in the film, is him believing what Rada is saying and it being the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But then, they come back, he leaves on that gun runner, and you're like, okay, satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm like, having them go back to Nal Hutta totally, makes sense and stuff. Having that all go down, because it's just progressing the story and building tension and all of that. But it did kind of feel like Rada, like they kind of built him as a much more important character in the story than kind
He
of felt
actually-
watching it,
yeah.
because they got a big actor to recognizable. He's made a name for himself. He's being put in another project for biggest franchise of all time, and woo,
Yeah.
he goes.
Yeah, but I think not as like a rebuttal, but I think the reason why that it worked the way that it did is because they had to make him like important enough. I felt like they had to make him important enough to the storyline to make it make sense on why there's this weird connection, and Mando's like, I have to save him. He's he's my pal now. Versus like, because they had to make him like important enough, but also not as important that they could end his story in the movie that they brought him back in, right? Because you make him too important, then we're gonna get a Disney Plus show called Rada the Hutt, and it's just him
Boxing.
muscling around the New Republic, I guess. Let me travel fast. Right? That was the feeling that I was getting from it, where it was just like, oh, okay, like he's important, but like I don't want to see a show about him.
I just kind of wish, like, the one thing I wish it could have happened, because like the way that like Mando got captured and brought back to Nal Hutta, good, fine, I
Great.
like that.
Yeah.
Bringing Embo back, true bounty hunter, does not care who he's working.
Doesn't have any
does
loyalty.
not have much morals for what he's doing and the impact for it. He just wants money. I wish that somehow the news of the gun runner carrying Rada had been shot down and captured by the twins, had been like somehow gotten back to Grogu, and that was part of his motivation for hunting. Like, rather than just overhearing Embo talking to the twins, like bring him back to Nal Hutta, like they just somehow Grogu, like while trying to figure out where Mando went, finds out that Rada got taken back, and that Mando was brought up, kind of like in a backwards way, where he finds out Rada was taken, and they also captured the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
who tried to steal him from us.
Yeah.
And that's what sent him
I
over
feel
there?
like that was really just a limitation of it being put in a movie.
Probably.
Like definitely, if it was a full blown TV season,
There probably would have been a filler episode of
that
just
would've-
Grogu and the little aliens.
that would have been it,
What we could have had.
right? I actually think that instead of him joining with the New Republic, I think they should have included Boba Fett somewhere in there. Because if you think about it, Rada's story and like character is exactly the same as Boba in the Book of Boba Fett, right? I used to work for Jabba. I will not rule in fear, right? I don't like my dad.
I'm not my father.
I'm better. Right? Like, I've found myself being like,
We
wow.
use CG to take Thor and Hulk and switch to Mandalorian and Rada the Hutt. Same fight.
That's what happens when you inject your booger with steroids.
You know those boogers from the Mucinex commercials? Here
This
they are
is him now.
now.
But I don't know. I was like, it felt a little weird to have him join up with the New Republic, and I think that I would have enjoyed a lot more him going with Boba Fett, right? Like, change your father's legacy, right? And this is a way you can do it, right? Rather than siding with the New Republic, whom everybody hates enough as it is anyways, right? Like they're just the nice empire.
Rada died in Force Awakens.
Yeah. I don't know. That was just like my thoughts there. What was stuff that you didn't like? Unless there's more that you want to talk about.
Everything else that I liked is
Soundtrack
kind of
was
a given.
great.
Yeah, Ludwig, you're like
The
you are
Mandalorian's
up there.
like theme is probably top.
It's become extremely
It's probably like
iconic.
top 5 or top 3 of my favorite Star Wars tracks. I really enjoy it.
This isn't necessarily like a dislike, but like I know for a fact that this movie was being developed when Carl Weathers passed away, and I'm almost certain that Sigourney Weaver's character was just going to be Greef Karga, but like working for the New Republic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I'm not dissing on Sigourney Weaver at all. She wasn't really involved in the movie very much,
Yeah.
but like you can always kind of tell when there's an actor who's just kind of they're just acting.
It's just clickbait. It's just for views, and it's audience
And
bait.
I am basing a lot of this over how cringe I think Ace of Staves is as a phrase.
He's our
And
Ace
that's a
of
writing
Staves.
problem. That's not a Sigourney Weaver problem.
No.
Because I still think with what she got and what she did was still good.
Yeah.
It's just
I just
knowing
don't think that she was-
knowing how involved she was in like the press junket and stuff, and then actually watching the movie, and she has like 4 minutes of screen time. You're like,
They rolled her out just for views.
yeah, it's
Right.
like super iconic sci-fi actress in Star Wars now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still think that she did a good
She
job.
did do a good job.
It's just, you know,
It's
like
kind of like a Hayden
just-
Christensen in the prequels type of thing.
Yeah, like-
Right.
like-
He's great. He does really good, but he suffers from George Lucas not being a good writer. Sigourney Weaver struggles with the exact same thing, right? How do we fit this character in? Like with that, that's not a dislike, but it's something that I wanted to like actually bring up. Do you think that this is what the Rangers of the New Republic show was supposed to be?
I don't know.
Because that's what I felt,
I kind of forgot that they were making that until you bring that up right now.
right? That's what this felt like. This felt like the Rangers of the New Republic going out, finding the bad guys, bringing them in.
They pulled a Book of Boba Fett on a show that never got made and
Right.
made it about Mando.
Right. That, I don't know. There might be a synopsis on the internet of what the show is supposed to be about. Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic.
Would that have had Dave Filoni as a lead? Since he Wolf whatever his in-universe name is that pilot? That would have been really funny to see Dave Filoni act for a whole show.
Yeah, see, it says a live action series focusing on New Republic peacekeepers and officers, potentially featuring characters like Cara Dune and Captain Carson Teva, exploring the challenges of the era after the Empire's fall. That's kind of this vibe that I got from this one.
Yeah, now that you read the plot synopsis, that definitely does kind of track.
I get it felt
Maybe.
like maybe that's like they took
I'm assuming that either Dave Filoni or
It-
Jon
they-
Favreau or both
they were both doing it.
they were
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah.
So I bet those ideas were kind of fresh. in
It
my
got
mind.
announced the same event that the Book of Boba Fett was announced and Ahsoka was announced.
I think I'm remembering that now.
And because they fired Gina Carano, they canceled the show, which I was really disappointed because I actually was really looking forward to the Rangers of the New Republic because I wanted to see
It felt
these
like another
difficulties of what they
news
faced.
story.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure that it can definitely that's probably something that is on the minds of people
Well,
working at Star Wars at Lucasfilm
yeah,
right now.
And obviously, this is definitely not the last we're ever gonna see of Mandalorian and Grogu.
no, honestly, I think that those two
I think
are kind of gonna they're not gonna have like a flying off into the sunset thing. And truthfully, I can't see them making like a teenage Grogu kind of thing.
no. One, I know a lot of people were like creators were like, in the end credit scene, we should have got like a flash forward of Grogu in his Mandalorian get up, so that it like came full circle of he is the Mandalorian. And a lot of people were like, yeah, that's great. And I was like, I don't want that. I like this how it is.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, back to things you disliked. That was just something that like I've been thinking about since we got out of the theater, and I just didn't I forgot to ask. But I felt like that's what I was watching. Like they didn't necessarily have to pull this movie's plot out of whole cloth. They just were like, oh well, we kind of have this.
We already have these
It got
pieces.
canceled, but we wrote it out, and so why don't we take a little bit of this, and then we take like a little bit of the Mandalorian, and we kind of mesh it together and see what we come up with, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And then once they threw in Zeb, and how Zeb's whole character is just helping the Mandalorian hunt down, I was like, oh well, Ranger of the new. He's a Ranger, and he's doing the thing.
Yeah. Okay, so for 97% of this movie, the CGI is supreme.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
Really good.
Like the creature work, the ships, the backgrounds, the works. It's fantastic. There's just some shots that either were like put in last second, or there just really wasn't a good way to make it better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one I mentioned to you getting out of the theater, when Mando first, paratrooper jumps out of the ship onto Shikari, when he lands, the scene where it shows him landing on the ground and like looking behind him and then walking forward, not great.
It looks like it's out of a video game.
Yes, it looked like, PS4 era video game, with really good chrome.
Yeah,
it's like it just more rigid movements. You could tell. You could just see it.
He looked. This is not the description, but you'll know what I'm saying. Like animation, like animated 3D objects, look like they're made out of rubber, right? Like they're made out of a clay rubber material that you can totally tell, oh, that's animated and this is real. Just because of the texture and the way that the light's hitting it, I can tell that that's fake because it looks too real.
It's uncanny.
It's like the cake versus fake stuff, right? Where you're like, that's not shiny enough to be a real thing, right? It's got I don't know what texture that is, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Who cares about you guys?
That's what I felt when I saw that. Him
Yeah. And then the literal next scene that they cut to afterward is him walking at a much quicker pace, going and you're like, wow,
not strutting his stuff.
That doesn't help sell the last scene. And then the only other one that comes to mind, it's so small that it's so stupid that I'm mentioning it, but at the very end of the one take action scene in the AT-AT, when that door closes to shut him off from the main cockpit, it's really clear to me that door is not there. And you can almost see the stunt actor step on his mark and stop. And then the door closes. You could almost see.
It's very rigid.
Yeah. You can almost visualize that day on set when he stopped, they yelled cut, and everyone was clapping that was really good. That was a great take.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, Those are really the only CG things that I'm thinking of right now that really weren't great.
I'd have to watch it again. Granted, I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more that Trevor's picked up than me. The one thing there wasn't a whole lot about the movie that I disliked. The CG shots of the weird Sebulba character. He doesn't look anything like Sebulba, the pod racer, but the weird fisherman guy in the forest on Nalhada.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
not when they're
the
in,
lizard man.
not when they're
Mhm.
in the hut, because when he's in the hut, it looks. It probably still is CG, but it looks a little more real.
Talking about when he's making the medicine, and it's like, oh, that's a glove.
Yeah, that scene, but also like the distant shots where like they have him rocking in his chair, and then you can see like the back of his like hut. That must have been a scene they used the volume for, because like I remember seeing that and being like, those two are on the same plane. There's no depth there, right? Like when he's rocking in his chair and Grogu's looking at him across the river, I was like, there's no depth. That is a singular, like,
You probably watch
walled
that back
off piece.
and just like you can kind of like see the border, where it kind of, I gotta wonder, like when they do like volume shots, how many times
Like-
they go in and they take the shot that was created for the volume there and they like input it in and like try to blend it.
It was very like apparent. It was very reminiscent of the scene in Revenge of the Sith when Padme and Anakin meet up and she's like, "I'm pregnant," and you're like, that background of the Jedi Temple is all on one singular plane. That is just a shrunken man walking behind you. Like,
I think his robes are 2 polygons.
like there wasn't enough depth in that scene. But other than that, there was another. Oh, when that scene where he lands on Shikari, not the fake one, but when it cuts to him actually walking, there's like one random scene of some cook guy being like,
I did not catch that.
and I was like, oh, is he gonna like be the one that turns him in? Nope. Never see him again. Ever. You don't. That guy's the camera.
that guy's cool.
The camera cuts to that guy's face to show him just go, ugh, chrome. Anyways, right? I didn't like that, and I don't like when movies do that. Anyways, like if you're gonna put a cut into like Martin Scorsese's character, right, or something that actually has to do with the story. Don't
An
like,
idea of where the character's going.
don't show here when this area is nothing to do with the story. If I'm going to talk to Trevor, don't show this side of the chair in a close up. There's no point.
Yeah.
So that one, it wasn't even like it just was annoying to me. I was like, ugh. I gave the cook the same look that he gave to the Mandalorian. But that was really like, those two things were the only things that I actually had a complaint with. Other than that, I was like, this is a pretty decent movie. And it had me on the edge of my seat there for a little bit. And I came home and my wife was like, well, what'd you think? And I was like, oh, well. She's like, wait. Katie told me that her and Trevor were trying to guess how you'd feel. And I was like, oh. And she was like, they said that you were going to feel very fatherly and that you were going to laugh because they say the thing, day wanna something. I was like, oh, yeah, the day wanna wanga thing. I was like, yeah, Trevor slapped my leg. And he was like, okay.
I needed him to know what was coming up.
It was good. It was great. But it did make me feel very fatherly. And I have to say, I don't know if it's because I'm a dad now or if it's because I've started watching movies more with you and you're definitely like in touch more with your feeling than
You
like
feel parental towards me?
No, than most traditional men in movies. But like since I've started watching movies with you, granted that's the same around the same time as my child was born, I've started to cry at overarching themes. I've never done this before, but like watching Rocky save Grace.
Grace, go home.
And then like seeing you turning and looking at you and watching you have a tear, even though you've already seen the movie, I'm like, damn it. But watching, or like the Fantastic Four, crying during that one. And then this one, like
Gosh,
watching.
that baby is not real.
But like watching this one and watching like the Mandalorian like do his duty as like the parental shut up. The parental sacrifice for his kid, right? Like you go, I can't fit in that ship, but I'll make sure I'll be right behind you. I'm just going to buy you time, right? And then he does his whole thing. And then he gets to the end and he just collapses. I remember being like, one, really heartbroken because the Mandalorian has definitely become one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. I love everything about the character. So being sad because of that, and then watching Grogu pop out and then take care of his dad, and then the alien, the creature guy is like, it might not work. And me being like, it has to. And then like when he wakes up, he falls asleep in his arms. I was like a little teary-eyed, and then he wakes up and he's not there, and he comes out, and Mando's like, oh, hey. And he's like, this is how it works, right? Like
says like the theme of the movie out loud. You know?
Old care for the young, and then when the time is right, the young care for the old. I was like, this is the way. And this only started when I started watching movies with you. I've actually had to think about the themes of the movies instead of color.
Sorry, I'm so weepy.
I have to take in the movie now instead of just enjoying the movie. What is this? What is this representing? Oh, heartbreak.
I feel heartbroken.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
No. Fantastic. We are pretty much out of time here, but last thing I wanted to ask, just like one moment, scene, whatever, like one particular thing in the movie that you enjoyed the most. Like you could just say it's like your favorite moment, your favorite scene, whatever. So we can end on a high note.
Other than the opening credits, I would say the most aesthetically pleasing scene to me was when he falls into the Hutt's pit and he just gets done fighting all these little weird, like creepy mermaid looking creatures. And he's like, is that all you got? And then like he turns around and there's the dragon snake looking at him. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Framed really well.
Yeah, beautiful. Perfect color. Like making the snake white was a decision, and it was a great decision. I loved that. That whole like shot / sequence, but I really loved that. That was really good. Granted, I couldn't see half the color because I'm colorblind, so the white really stuck out.
Dragon snake. Figured it out.
What about you?
Well, to go on a completely opposite, not technical side whatsoever, but both times I saw this movie, this stood out to me and is my favorite. But after Mando goes back to Martin Scorsese's character and tries to get more information out of him, and then he shuts the window, and Mando comes in, and you just hear Martin Scorsese just rambling on, just going like crazy. And Mando comes in. Martin Scorsese's character, he's just killed me both times. It's so good. I don't know why I love it.
It's a little bit of a
so
jump
much.
scare. It turns back and he's like, because he's huge.
Yeah. What do you?
I don't want your money. I didn't tell you nothing. It's not for that. It's for the kids' tab. Chewing on a freaking like Funyun.
It's those moments with the cook felt like, it sounds so vague for me. It just felt very Star Wars. Like
Very
getting,
Star
like
Wars.
paying a guy for information.
Paying a random cook.
That's literally like in the first Star Wars, you pay Han Solo for a ship out. Okay, like
Obi-Wan pays the diner guy. Hey, oh yeah, that's from Camino. I've never left this planet.
and it's not on any star charts. Don't ask me how I know this.
I'm gonna go back to cooking.
Obi-Wan. Do you know how long it took me to realize that guy had a mustache? Long time. I did not know until I was an adult.
But the cook
I blame
stuff,
Lego Star
the
Wars.
random like cook thing, Maz.
If a cook has
Maz
4
is the
arms
same thing.
in Star Wars, great character.
Yeah. Anyways.
Thank you, everyone, for another great Star Wars month.
Rewatchability.
You know
Rewatchability on a scale of 1 to 5.
Rewatchability. This movie is really fun, so I'd give it a 4 off rip.
I'm also going to give it a 4. And then 1 to 10. Rate the movie.
These ratings just they're so hard.
I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm gonna give it.
It's not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it's good.
I'm gonna give it a 7.4. I liked this.
You heard it here first, folks. Good stuff.
Once again, remember, when Conan O'Brien makes the joke that we made
We
a year from
made
now,
it first.
it's ours.
I'm coming for that
Copyright Frame Rate
pomade.
podcast.
I'm gonna rock the Conan hairdo.
You heard it here first.
I will host the next Oscars. That will be my settlement. Oh my gosh! Have you watched the Frame Rate podcast?
Welcome to the Oscars, everybody. Here's my podcast.
Sandworm.
Isn't this just the production is just so hot?
The most like word art tag.